What's up, everybody? It's Matt with Texas Edge Home Inspections, and today we're doing a pre-drywall home inspection. Now, a lot of people think that when we're doing a pre-drywall home inspection that we are just focusing on the interior and the framing and everything that's going on inside there, and we are, but that's not all. It actually starts, for me anyway, on the exterior of the house because I want to get a good look at the weather barrier. This is the main source of defense your house has from exterior elements, water, air, things like that. And today we're finding quite a few issues. Come check it out with me. One of the main things I'm looking for is how things are flashed. And this tape right here, this is flashing. It is in place to keep air and water out of the structure. And we look at some of these and they're just very haphazardly done. I mean, the way this is supposed to be done is you're supposed to have something sealed around the pipe, or at the very least, if it's something square, you have the sides done and then over the top so that you flash in a shingle-like fashion. But you can see water can just get back here, and we just haven't really done a good job of this, and this is happening at several different penetrations. They make products that do a much better job at this, but this really isn't going to work. This isn't going to keep out a whole lot of anything. We have some where they've kind of done like a patchwork pattern of tape around a pipe. Look, there are specific flashings that are made for this that can do a much better job. I've heard them tell me, well, it's hard to get tape around that pipe. Well, look, there are things that'll make it a whole lot easier, but the way they're doing it here just isn't going to be very effective. While we're on the topic of things being effective, we have this foam insulation, exterior insulation going down the whole side of this house. This is in place to reduce thermal bridging. It's made to go over all of the studs and reduce the amount of energy that transfers through those studs, because in between the studs there's going to be insulation. But if we leave those studs open, obviously we can get a lot of thermal activity through there. But when you don't run the foam all the way and you leave these gaps, which are going on in several places, that's kind of eliminating the purpose of this exterior insulation. Now, this is a very low R value. I believe we're at R3, but still it is reducing that thermal bridging whenever it's installed properly, but here it's just not. Now also, this sheathing is in place as the weather barrier, and so we need to make sure that it remains intact. And we have these areas where we have holes or tears, and it's going on kind of all over the place. We even have some overdriven nails. These all need to be sealed because we want to maintain the weather barrier all the way around the structure. It needs to be continuous. So any holes or any tears, any overdriven nails, we need to go through those and seal those with the appropriate flashing tape.
Before we move on, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you like the content that you're watching here today and other videos that I put out, the best way that you can support me is to hit that subscribe button. Now let's get back to it.
Now, this next topic has been a bit controversial as of late. So what we have here is we have a house that the insulation that they're using is spray foam. So all the way up to the rafters in the living space, that whole section of attic is going to be spray foam. But we have some areas that are not insulated, such as the front patio. We also have the back patio, and we have the garage. These areas do not have any insulation above them, which is fine, that's normal. But those attic spaces are much like traditional homes that should require some ventilation. Although we are sealed where the foam is in the attic space and we're not supposed to have any air coming in through those spaces, these areas that are not insulated and that are not part of the building's envelope, they still require some ventilation, preferably upper and lower ventilation. There is a calculation to tell you exactly what you need, but in this case, we haven't put any ventilation in these areas. Again, this has been a little bit controversial because there's been some people that had some opposing opinions on this lately. So if you have any comments on that, let me know what you think down below. But for me, and as far as the code is concerned, these areas that are not sealed and not insulated require ventilation.
Even at a pre-drywall inspection, we're still going to take a look at the roof, although at this stage it's probably going to be with a drone. You might think that's inferior, but I beg to differ. For example, look at this plumbing vent stack here. You can see it still has a cap on it. They either forgot to take this cap off or they just haven't removed it yet, but either way, we're going to put that in the report because that can affect your plumbing drainage. Also at the bottom, it's buckled. We don't want anything to collect water on your roof, we want it to shed water. Now this one here, same situation, buckled at the bottom, but the cap has been removed on this one. Now looking at the roof with the drone might seem like looking for a needle in a haystack. But again, if you know what you're looking at and you know how to find it, you can still find even the smallest defects. Like for example, even though my feet are not on the roof, I can still have a close enough look to find this misplaced nail. They put this nail too low and now the shingle above it isn't properly covering it, and this could lead to moisture intrusion. Now moving on to the interior of this pre-drywall inspection, I gotta say, I was pretty impressed with how little I could find that was wrong. And I go through them with a fine-tooth comb. You can see I look at all of these cripple studs, make sure they're in contact with the sill. Always look at every single joist hanger, make sure we don't have any missing or any of them that are missing fasteners. And in this case, they were all in pretty good shape. Now, one thing that's far too common these days is seeing this discoloration on some of these pieces of lumber. Guys, I'm not a mold inspector. I don't know what this is, but it doesn't look great. And with the heightened sensitivity people seem to have around mold, it's best that we just get rid of this or treat it or something before we put up drywall. Another thing that's far too common is this metal plate here, which is supposed to extend 2 inches below the top plate, which it doesn't here. And then any drain pipe that goes through the top or bottom plate needs to have a plate over it, and you can see we're missing a bunch of them. There were a few more minor things, but all in all, the interior and the framing of this was in pretty good shape.
Now, while that's not everything that we found in this home inspection day, that's all that's going in this video because I've got to get to another job. As you can see though, these pre-drywall inspections, they're pretty important. So the next time you need a pre-drywall inspection, call us at Texas Edge Home Inspections. I'll catch you on the next one.